What's up, guys? Dirk here. It is Sunday. I don't have my computer, so I'm filming this on my phone. Hopefully the audio is going to be good. It should, because it's a brand new phone, and the audio might, or the video might be a little bit shaky, but we should be good. So I wanted to make this because I'm just getting so many questions about crypto and Bitcoin right now. Like, is it too late to buy? Is the cycle over? Are we going to crash? Are we going to get a repeat of the 2018 crash? You know, should I buy Bitcoin? All these kind of things, just over and over and over. And I just want to share my thoughts on that. So I guess this format is perfect. And when I do edit it later, maybe I'll do some overlays of, various articles and graphs and stuff like that to work it in when I'm talking with that. So as a subscriber of my channel, if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, then you get updates. And you've probably been following me for a while. If you have, then you know that I've been sharing about these cycles and my thoughts with that. So Bitcoin has the 4-year halving cycle, which so far has repeated perfectly and is still repeating to this very month. It is perfectly on track. We have the stock to flow model, which predicts that the Bitcoin price should end up hitting the $100,000 mark before 2024. And that could even happen if it overshoots this year. There's a lot of people who are making predictions also of Bitcoin being anywhere between $100,000 and $300,000 by the end of the year. Personally, I think that's a little bit on the high side, but who knows, right? There's some crazy times. We saw what happened last year. The whole world is completely different. We're only in the middle of January, right? And there's just so much going on with stimulus. The lockdowns are still going, right? Businesses are still being shut down. People are struggling. They're losing their jobs. That's why the stimulus is going more and more. Obviously, we have the presidential stuff happening next week on the 20th, I believe. You know, I'm completely not into politics or following any of that stuff, but obviously it has a big effect on the world, what's all happening there. So, you know, there's talks of a new stimulus package of $1.9 trillion that's going to be created, new stimulus checks for people in the US. Hopefully a lot of people are going to put that into crypto, because you get there's this Twitter account that basically updates what the stimulus check from last year would have been worth if you would have put it into Bitcoin, and it would have been substantially more. So maybe this time people are going to be like, hey, you know, I'm going to take a portion of my stimulus check or all of it and put it into Bitcoin or crypto. You know, not saying you should do that or shouldn't do that, can't give you financial advice, but you know, that might actually end up getting a lot more money flowing into crypto, and again, continuing the bull run, keeping prices going. So in my opinion, the 4-year cycle is still on track, right? And what this means is that the 2013 cycle lasted for about 12 months after the halving. So if we have a 12-month peak, the last halving that we had was in May of 2020. So 12 months would be May of this year. But the 2017 cycle, that lasted for almost 18 months. So if that repeats, then we're looking at potentially November. So it is only January. And basically between those two cycles, look, anything can happen. There's no guarantee. Like it could obviously, anything can happen, and it could drop tomorrow and it could be over, right? Who knows? But I don't think that is the most likely scenario. And in my opinion, we still have between 5 and 10 months to go, putting us somewhere potentially for a peak of Bitcoin and crypto between May and November of this year. That's purely based on those cycles if they repeat. Now, what I also think is that we're in the early stages of retail investment FOMO, right? So as you know, with the Wall Street cheat sheet, there's the different emotions, market sentiment towards how market cycles behave. And this is in all markets, but we're specifically applying this to crypto. Crypto is no different. It's basically just accelerated, right? So the market cycle for crypto happens a lot quicker than regular markets that might take 10 years. This time, you know, it might take 4 years or even less than that. So I think we are in the early stages, and I think we're somewhere between maybe optimism and belief. So I think the really parabolic phase of the crypto market is still to come, okay? And based on having been in the space and having witnessed the whole 17 boom, right, from early 2017 and seeing how that went, basically, I think that is still yet to happen, and we are still got those 5 to 10 months to go, which means that what we're seeing now for the longest time, the retail investors, they weren't interested. They got burnt in 2018. You know, they bought in near the top. The market crashed, sometimes even up to 90% in certain altcoins. And for the last 2.5 years, those markets have been pretty dead. A lot of people have just forgotten about it. They've been burnt by crypto, but really starting to see that come back. Okay, there's a Facebook group, 26,000 people in it. It was pretty dead for the bear market. And now the last couple weeks, it's just popping again. Dozens and dozens of posts every day. People asking, you know, which exchange do I get on? I'm just logging into my exchange. How do I buy crypto? Look at my portfolio. So I'm definitely starting to see a completely different change in sentiment from the regular retail investors. So just regular people who have 9-to-5s, who have businesses, literally what it says, retail investors, right? Just as a hobby, they have a couple $100, a couple $1,000 on the side that they put into crypto. And they are starting to wake up again. I'm getting a lot more messages, a lot more DMs. Do I buy Bitcoin? Like I've been saying. So based on the sentiment and measuring it compared to how I perceived it late 2017, I don't think we're in the crazy final euphoria stages just yet. And that means that kind of reaffirms what I'm thinking, that we still have several months to go at least. Now, this is the stage where it starts to go crazy, because this is where the exchanges are really experiencing a lot of volume. As we've been seeing this, we've seen a couple of exchanges, even Binance saying, you know, record traffic, record volume. That's because millions and millions and millions of people right now are starting to realize, hey, crypto keeps going up. I need to start looking into it. And they start signing up for exchanges, right? And they start looking into, you know, how to create a portfolio. And now they want to start learning about it, right? It's always like that. And only towards the end of the cycle, that is when most people start getting interest, most of the retail people anyways, because they just don't follow these trends. They don't understand it, and they just keep seeing it go up and up and up, and they ignore it, and they think it's a scam, and it keeps going up and up and up. They keep ignoring it. They think it's a scam, keeps going up, and eventually they're like, you know, I should get myself some of these. And maybe they talk to a friend, or they see it on the TV and they see like, wow, this has gone up so much, right? And by that time, we're almost at the end stages. But when all the normies, right, the retail investors start piling in, that's when we start seeing things go crazy. We get that euphoria, we get that thrill, and the market just goes parabolic for those last couple of weeks, maybe last 2-3 months of that cycle, and it just really, really pushes up. And that's when I think we see the altcoins really start to boom, because, you know, Bitcoin is over $30,000. Most people can't afford a single Bitcoin or even half a Bitcoin, right? But let's just say they have a couple $1,000s to invest. They're going to start looking at the altcoins because they perceive them to be cheaper, or, you know, maybe even there's higher ROI potential. But a lot of the things is like, hey, you know, a Bitcoin is whatever, 30,000 or 50,000, whatever it's going to be. But hey, an Ethereum is only, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever it is. And then we get some of these coins, they're only a couple cents, right? So the retail money starts to flow into the altcoins, and then we really start to get that altcoin boom. So I think we are in the early stages of that happening. And I really think we do have a couple of months left to go, and it can happen really quickly. In the 2017 altcoin season, they started in about July 2017. And if we take ARK, for example, cryptocurrency, but it's typical for the altcoins, what happened during that period is at the start, so in about July 2016, it was trading at just under 30 cents. And within 6 months, it went to just about $10, right? So that is an insane boom in 6 months or less. And I think we're going to see that same thing again. So when these altcoins start moving, they move really far and really quickly. But, and this is a big but, and you want to be ready for this, is after the boom is done and after we have that crazy parabolic gain, they will end up dropping just as fast, and they will drop 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% afterwards in a quick period of time. So the key here, and what I'm trying to share with you in these videos, and trying to warn you about too, is that you want to be positioned. If you're not already positioned yet, some altcoins are still cheap. There's still time to get in, okay? A lot of them are still down 70, 80, 90% from their previous highs. But once they start moving and they start getting back towards their all-time highs or even higher, then it becomes much more difficult to buy in. Plus, at that point, you simply are not going to be able to get the crazy gains that you could get, right? So you want to position yourself before they take off, and then you want to be ready to sell once things start going parabolic, once everyone starts piling in and we start seeing insane gains. That's when you want to be selling, all right? Not looking to buy. So This is basically the market cycle. It's been happening in markets everywhere. This time it's just more accelerated in cryptocurrencies. And like we saw in 2017, I do think that that is going to happen again, and it is going to repeat once again. Now, another thing that I want to add here is that I think we will still get this repeat. Sorry for the shakiness, I don't have the tripod. We will get this repeat of the boom and the alt season, but I think this might very well be the last time that it happens. So it's been happening. It's happened basically 2017, 2013 it happened, but altcoins weren't really a thing back then. So the only real time we had this happen was in 2017 with the altcoins, and then we had ICOs. That's no longer a thing. Now, I think we still get some sort of crazy boom, some kind of crazy bust, but I think regulation is coming, and we're starting to see this. The banks are getting involved, PayPal, regulators, SEC, and so on and so forth. And I think that after this bull run is done, a lot of things are going to change in crypto in terms of it becoming more regulated. You know, not everyone is just going to be able to create and launch and list a token and start trading it and stuff like that. Like what is still happening right now, I think it's very much still the Wild West. And I think that is going to change after this. So that might be another reason why we might get an enormous pump as kind of an exit pump for a lot of these projects that I think are completely garbage. There's thousands of altcoins. Most of them probably won't be here in 5 to 10 years from now. And most of them probably know that regulation is coming and that they're not going to survive for multiple years. So what I do think is that when we get this crazy pump, that a lot of these projects are probably going to be looking to exit, right? Even the founders or a lot of bag holders, they will be looking to exit, and rightfully so, in my opinion. So again, like I've been saying, if we do get that crazy pump, personally, I'm going to be looking to exit. There's not a lot of altcoins that I want to be holding for the next 5-10 years at all. You know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe there's a handful of others. But in the short term, in this bull run cycle, I look at altcoins as basically a way to make profits, to be able to get more Bitcoin and maybe more Ethereum, and actually just cash out of the markets too, and use them as a vehicle for profit rather than any sort of buy and hold of altcoins or getting attached to any sort of projects or tokens or anything like that. So be aware of that. We're already starting to see the signs of regulation, and you know, as this market grows, it already hit $1 trillion in market cap. As it continues to grow to multiple trillions, I have no doubt that the regulation is going to come, right? And the thing is, yes, you have decentralized exchanges, but a lot of this volume is happening on the centralized exchanges, and the authorities can basically just tell these centralized exchanges that they have to comply with certain listing requirements or remove projects that don't comply. Otherwise, the centralized exchange gets shut down, right? So they're going to be forced to comply, which means that a lot of tokens are probably just going to disappear from the bigger exchanges. And if they do, that means they're not going to be able to be traded. There's going to be far less volume. So the chances of them succeeding is probably slim to none, right? Unless they are compliant and they meet all those standards. And then the chances, you know, that they're probably going to continue to grow. So those are things that you need to keep an eye on going forward. And hopefully this was useful. This was just a quick update. I want to keep it under 15 minutes. So turn the like button blue, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Where do you think we are in the cycle? Again, this is just my personal opinion, not financial advice. Only time is going to tell whether I'm right or not. You know, we're only going to be able to look at this in hindsight and say, hey, you know, Dirk was right. We were in the early stages and the boom was yet to come. So that is my opinion. I think we still have several months to go. We will see, obviously, in the next weeks and months. But please pay attention to all of this stuff, because it's really based on, you know, a lot of research and a lot of experience in these markets. And that's what I think is going to happen. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.